This is a very rotten railing. And so today I'm going to take that pile of poplar and recreate that railing. Welcome to the Deliberate Manner YouTube channel. I am he, Jeff, the Deliberate Manner. So yeah, you saw that big pile of poplar. We're going to make a railing, reproducing the rotten one that I just took off the porch of the house you just saw in the intro. Let's do it. Two down, two to go. Got to be careful with that one. This one's rotten, so we can take drastic measures to get it off. Jeez, practically fell apart. Kind of did fall apart. She's done. And I did a little exploring over here. There was a water shield underneath the particle board, which is turned to this. But it was spliced together and not overlapping, so didn't do much. It was kind of just a good thought gone bad. So they're all off now. In order to buy all that poplar, I took some notes on measurements of the railing I'm reproducing. And so from this sheet, which is probably indecipherable by anyone else but me, I'm going to take and rip down, it's a big table saute today, all the pieces I've got out there to get them to some semblance of the sizes I need for the different pieces and parts. So I'm going to whip out the table saw and start a cutting. So we'll start with the bottom piece right here. For the original railings, they were 3 3/4 wide. And whoever built this, I'm guessing 40 years ago-ish, just used a piece of 2x4. So I'm going to recreate it like the other 3 original railings so that you won't be able to tell the difference. So we'll use this piece right here. We have our piece here, 3 3/4. And so here, you can better see it actually on the end. There's a little bevel cut, an angular cut to let the water come down. Just a touch on the edges there. So we're going to recreate that. I don't have it cut to length yet, but that leaves room for error. So let's get to work on the top piece. So on the original railings, the top piece is just one solid piece. For what we're doing here, we're rebuilding that railing. I'm going to actually use 2 pieces, top piece and then piece 2x here down below it. So to do that, we're going to take this 5/4 piece here, get it to 3 1/4 wide, or 3 3/4 wide, and then we'll bevel it up. So we'll cut that piece. here's the top piece all done up. Again, a little long, room to play. Let's take a look at the next piece we need to make. So now, if we're looking at the profile, we need to make, so again, this is one piece on the old railing, and it's going to be two pieces on the new railing. This is going to sit on top of a little 2x piece right here. So we're going to make this piece, and this has a little detail in here that the guy who built that didn't bother to recreate, but we're going to here. Let's just take a look at this recreation real quick. You can see this is also two pieces of wood, but not a lot of effort was made to make it look like the old one. There's a little detail in here. This is just a 2x4. So we'll recreate something that looks somewhat like this. So I have the top piece on top of the bottom piece of the top portion of the rail. So that's what it'll look like once it's all put together. Got a 1/4-inch reveal on each side, and then I've just been looking through my router bit collection, and the closest I've got to the detail at the bottom of the old rails is this bad boy right here, but it doesn't give me enough of a reveal down here. Might have to run to Rockler and get a new round over bit that'll eat in here at the top, right in there. It needs to eat in about 1/8 of an inch, and this one doesn't eat. It just keeps it flush. So we'll find something different. So we got the bottom piece and the top piece of the rail. Now we need to make a bunch of these bad boys here out of what I've got left. So that's going to be a lot of milling. So I'll come back and say hi once I've milled that all out. Good morning. So I left off, I got all the stuff cut up for the railings, and here's where I left off. So it got to be real late last evening, but I did manage to get the first 6 on. We'll continue down the line here. I'm using one of the old railings to prop it up, and we'll get everything put together. All right, just the last 3 here, and the this portion of the assembly will be done. And here's where we're at so far. There's the rotten railing. This one's replacing. So we've got the first portion of the top rail on. All of those in. So we're going to let the glue dry that's on the tops of those, and assemble the bottom and put the top cap on the rail. We've got a disaster in the shop, however. But before I clean up the disaster, I'm going to spend some time and strip the paint off of all of the existing railings so that we can have a nice, fresh poison-free start to the next 100 years of these railings right here. I just finished stripping the paint off of this older railing that we're going to reuse, and details have revealed themselves. So I was able to get this little piece here on the new railing, but down below I noticed it had the same little detail. Let's see if we can see it. Right down there. And the paint was just rounded over there, so you couldn't even see it. So we'll recreate that using a router. Let's go ahead and cut a nice little quarter round in there on the bottom side of the rail, and then we can attach it to this new railing that's currently upside down on the floor. So there we go. Now we can see we have our little round over with a bit of a reveal there at the bottom. So that further mimics the old railings. So I'll flip this around to the other side and then we'll put it together. Got the piece up here. Got my little bagger piece screwed on temporarily. And now I'm just gonna apply a little glue to the tops of these bad boys here, set that back on, and just go right down the line and nail it together. And as I go, I'll use a spacer before I nail to make sure we're the same width all the way up and down. And we're getting closer to having a replica rail here. See how this goes. Let's flip her over and see what she looks like right side up. Cool. All right, I'll get the little guide piece off of there. And we can fuss with the top. There's another piece that goes on top here. And that'll pretty it up. Voila! Breakfast is ready.
Just wait till I hear from you then.
Voila, breakfast is ready.
Let's do some top stuff here. Go grab it. Well, isn't that just fancy? Ah. So my son and I just watched the new Spider-Man movie, and it's excellent, by the way. It's what a Marvel movie looks like when Disney's not in charge. But towards the end, spoiler alert, what have you, a bunch of Spider-Men got together and teamed up on Miles, the subject of the animated story. Long story short, they all told him that he needed to do something. And when I say all, there were a good 50 Spider-Man anyway, including Spider-Man and his amazing friend Spider-Man. And that I got a kick out of that. That was one of my favorite shows. Both growing up and watching it with my son many, many years ago now. But long story short, all the Spider-Man decided to team up on Miles and told him he had to do something and that it was for his own good. And it was obvious to everyone watching the movie that it wasn't for his own good. But yet, all the Spider-Men were insistent, and that the future of the Spider-Verse, as it were, relied on him doing what they said for his own good. Turns out, after things worked themselves out, it wasn't going to be for his own good, and Miles did not do it. So, the lesson from the movie, I figure, was that if you have a large group, a community, if you will, telling you that something is for your own good, and insisting that you follow through with it, even though your gut tells you something's wrong here. Well, basically, if they're saying it's for your own good and your gut's saying it's not, generally, it isn't for your own good. And, as it showed in the movie, could potentially get you killed. I can't imagine where there was a situation in real life where everyone was saying, Jeff, it's for your own good. But yet, everything I was reading on my own was saying no bueno. Guess I'm glad I listened to my gut, and so too am I glad that Miles listened to his. So go watch the new Spider-Man movie. It's awesome. And it has some good lessons for a lot of you. Do. All right. Let's see if it fits. Well, isn't that a sexy looking railing? Okay. Well, let's attach that. I think the glue and clamp method's the way to go. Just get the glue that's running out. It's not too bad, but some nonetheless. It's a lot easier to clean it up now than to try to sand it. All right. We'll let this dry. Damn, looks good. Hell of a lot better than that thing. As you can see, in the middle of building the new railing, I'm in a paint removal process. So I've done one. So now I'm going to get started on the big boy here, the corresponding railing. Just me, a heat gun, and the music of your life on AM 870, which unfortunately the owner of AM 870 just passed away. About a week ago. The station's still in the air, but I don't know how much longer it will be on the air, which is a sad day. I've been listening to this working for good 10 years anyway. It's a good little station and commercial free. And the extra added benefit is most of the music is royalty free, so I can leave the radio on while I'm doing this little recording thing. Do. All right. Back to it. Another day working as a stripper. Don't worry, I'm licensed by the federal government to be a stripper. I'm not one of those cabin masters go on national television without a license to strip. Well, I best get to it. I'm not going to do the stripping under the glare of the camera. We'll be back after she's all done. Oh, hi. We're in the priming stage now. So I'm priming all these railings and getting them ready to spray with a final coat. So we're getting close to being done, but I do have an extra repair to make. So I've been plugging away at the other front railing that we're keeping, and I've filled in the rot, scraped it all out, got all the rotten wood out of there, and used Bondo to bring it so it's flush with the top of the bottom rail. So I just need to make a few of these, get this back together, and it too can join the others getting primed outside. So pretty exciting, almost done. I'll finish priming and then we'll come back and do a sprayed up final coat. We're in the home stretch now. I'm mixing up a little concoction here. It's a combo of Aura Benjamin Moore paint and this lovely extender, which is going to thin it up. If you've ever painted with Aura, it's here, I'll show you. She's a little too gooey for a spray gun. So we'll thin it down. Ben Moore was obviously aware of this issue. And we'll mix it up here, put it in our spray gun, and go to town. All right, it's a new gun, so we'll see how she energizes here. Just test it over here. Let's give it a go. Painted. So there they are. First coat of paint, finish coat on the railings. Pretty happy with progress here. Took a while to get the old ones restored, but we got those done. New one built. They're ready to rock and go back up on that porch. So that's going to do it for this episode of The Deliberate Manor. Next time we'll be getting back up on the porch and building a sarcophagus to contain all the lead paint chips that'll come off those columns as I scrape and strip those. And finally, we'll get the floor done. We got to rip up that floor and put down a brand new fir floor. It's going to be stained wood with the new railings, the crisp, clean, stripped and painted columns. It's going to look awesome. So that's what we're doing next time, getting ready to basically paint prep. So there we go. New railings, look good. We'll see where all this overspray settles. It's pouring rain outside, so I did it in today just to keep the progress moving here. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.